Welcome to your channel, Storyteller's Haven. On a chilly autumn evening in the small town of Willow Creek, the tranquility was shattered by a horrific discovery. The local librarian, Margaret Hayes, was found murdered in her own home, a quaint little cottage on the edge of town. The townsfolk were devastated. Margaret was beloved by all. Her body was discovered by her neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, who was returning a book that she had borrowed. As soon as she opened the door, the sight that met her eyes was enough to freeze her in horror. Margaret lay sprawled on the floor, the remnants of a shattered vase around her, blood pooling beneath her. Detective James Carter, a seasoned officer with over 15 years of experience, was assigned to the case. The initial examination revealed signs of a struggle. Margaret had defensive wounds on her arms, indicating she had fought against her attacker. The authorities quickly cordoned off the area and an investigation commenced. Detective Carter gathered a team and began interviewing everyone in the neighborhood. His first conversation was with Mrs. Thompson, who was still visibly shaken. "Mrs. Thompson, can you tell me what you saw when you entered Margaret's home?" Carter asked gently. I just came to return a book. The door was slightly ajar, and when I walked in, I found her like that," she stammered, tears streaming down her face. "She was such a kind woman. Who could do something like this?" "We'll find out, I promise," Carter reassured her, before moving on to the next interview. Carter next spoke with the town's handyman, Oliver, who had worked on Margaret's garden a few weeks prior. "Did you notice anything unusual while you were there?" he inquired. Oliver frowned. "Well, I did see a strange man lurking around a few days ago. He looked out of place, moving through the neighborhood like he was looking for something or someone." Detective Carter took note of this lead, sensing it could be significant. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation stalled. However, Carter was determined not to let the case go cold. He studied the details meticulously, revisiting the crime scene and reviewing security footage from the nearby houses. One night, as he was going through the footage, he noticed a figure lingering outside Margaret's house on the night of the murder. The hooded man appeared to be pacing nervously, glancing back towards the street. Carter promptly obtained the image and took it to the local diner where the townsfolk often gathered. "Has anyone seen this man?" he asked, laying the picture on the counter. A waitress named Lucy gasped, "That's Tommy! He's been in and out of jail for petty crimes. He's been acting strange lately, hanging around the library." With the lead pointing towards Tommy, Carter and his team tracked him down to a rundown motel on the outskirts of town. Under questioning, Tommy initially denied any involvement, but eventually broke down. "They said she wouldn't give me the books I wanted. I didn't mean to kill her," he confessed, his voice trembling. Carter pressed on. "What do you mean? Did you intend to confront her?" Tommy sighed heavily. "Yeah, I just wanted some cash for my next fix. I didn't think it would go that far. I just wanted her to help me." With Tommy's confession, the case that had haunted Willow Creek for so long came to a tragic conclusion. The community held a memorial for Margaret, and as they gathered to mourn, Detective Carter stood quietly at the back, reflecting on the senselessness of the crime. As time passed, he often thought of Margaret's kindness and how a moment of desperation could lead to an irreversible tragedy. The constant reminder of her death pushed him to advocate for better mental health resources in the community. He felt it was a small but significant step towards preventing such horrors in the future. In the end, justice was served, but the shadow of Margaret's murder lingered in the hearts of Willow Creek's residents, reminding them of the fragility of life and the impact of their actions. If you like the video, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell button, like the video, and also invite your friends to subscribe to your channel.